Hey there UBChefs, welcome to this week's menu. I'm about to get cooking for 10 dishes that we've done for you. Remember, you don't have to watch every single dish, just flip through to the dish that you've ordered if you don't want to watch the whole thing. Or you can get some dish ideas if you're going to recreate this at home. So let's get cooking. I'm going to show you the dishes in order. Our weekly bake dish first of all. This is our seaweed focaccia. As usual, it's wrapped in the tin foil. Make sure you heat it up in the foil, that's going to keep it nice and moist. Let's get that in the oven now. There we go. It's going in about 8 to 10 minutes or just until it's warm. Then we've got here, we've got some crispy wild rice and we've got a lovely yuzu butter. So what you want to do, take a tray, just put your rice on there, get your butter, put it onto the rice, get a little bit of rice on the top, you see like that, and then what you can do, then you can pick it up and then you can start just pushing that rice in. What we're aiming to do is completely cover that lovely ball of yuzu butter in the crispy rice. So that's almost nearly done. A few on the top there. Make sure that rice is really piled on. A little bit of salt as well. And then let's carefully put that on our board, like so. And now all we've got to do is wait for our focaccia to be heated up, and then we're going to serve it with our yuzu butter. So out comes my focaccia in the foil. Then all you need to do, unwrap it, like so, and then you've got that lovely slab of hot seaweed focaccia with all the seaweed going through the layers. I suggest you do a nice bit of oil on the top. We've already boiled it and we've put a touch of seasoning, but just want a little bit more. And then I'm just going to go through, take some nice wedges, like so, and then let's get it onto our board. Set it on a plate, completely up to you, but that is all ready to dip in, get your knife or spread it however you want to do it, but that yuzu butter is going to go lovely with that seaweed flavour. Hope you enjoy the first course. So first starter for you, this is a cauliflower Bavarois. So in here, this is a cauliflower Bavarois set in the bottom, and then we've got this lovely chalk stream trout just here. So this is rainbow trout. You see, look what we've done, we've cured it. So you've got a lovely colour trout, look at that. Lovely bit of dill on the top. Trout's already there. I've got a little bit of herring roe, very good caviar. I've got some crispy pumpernickel bread, and I've got a little sea herbs there as well. So I'm just going to take a little bit of rapeseed oil. This will just shine up those sea herbs, a touch of salt in there as well. This is not like the marsh samphire grass, which is already quite salty. This doesn't actually grow in the water itself, it just grows in the rocks next to the sea. So it's got a lovely aromatic lemony flavour, but it's not salty. So what we want to do is take our pieces of trout, and we're just going to start to curl those in and around like the kind of top of the Bavarois, like so. Try and get a bit of height so it looks nice and different, not too placed. That's all of those. Then what we'll do is get some of our sea herbs. And you can just use your fingers or a little pair of tweezers, whichever you like. But again, get those nice and placed in between the trout so you don't cover it all up. And again, nice little amount on there. So a few more, and then we'll go with our caviar. Yep, all happy. There we go. So that's that one. Caviar. I'm just going to take a nice spoon of that, and I'm just going to go in the centre, like so. Make sure we get all of that out. Lovely. Finally, a few little droplets of rapeseed oil. That lovely little yellow colour just goes great on the white. And then onto my plate. There we go. And I'm going to get some of those crispy croûtes we talked about. This is just so you can break these off. Spread a little of the cauliflower on the top, and of course some of the fish. So, lovely little summery starter there for you. That's the cauliflower Bavarois, cured trout on the top, the chalk stream trout, the root caviar, crispy pumpernickel bread. Next starter for you is this Carpaccio aged grass-fed beef here. So we've got a lovely really full flavour beef carpaccio just here. I've got some beef dripping croutons, so this is sourdough, beef dripping there, going in the oven 1 to 2 minutes. So let's get them in. Not going to take long at all, just warm them up. And then get your plate, and then where we sent you the carpaccio, there's a top and a bottom. So as you look at it, you just peel off a little bit of paper there, you can see that's the top because it's all nicely arranged and you can see each piece. So what I say to do, turn it over onto your hand and then peel off that bottom layer like so. See, I've got it on there, and then you can just simply turn the paper and let's place that right in the centre of your plate, and then look at that lovely carpaccio beef, all lovely and thinly sliced, all ready to go. So what we want to do then is we've got a little watercress here and we've got some heritage beetroots. Take a touch of oil on both, a little bit of seasoning again on both as well. There we go, just work that into the watercress so that's nicely dressed. Give your beetroots a little stir. And then horseradish creme fraiche just here. Cut off a tiny little part of your piping bag. A little bit of oil first of all on your beef. Back of a spoon or your finger or a little pastry brush will do the job, but just work that oil in. And this is not just giving the beef a lovely shine, it's dressing it ready for a touch of salt going on there. Otherwise the salt, when it hits the beef, it will instantly kind of burn it and start to discolour. So as we said, a little bit of salt. I'm using Maldon salt as well, it's lovely and flaky. Touch more. Don't be scared about the salt in here. Honestly, it needs a good amount. Little white. Then let's have a little test of our piping bag of horseradish. So a little pipe just on the side. So then let's just go over our beef like so. And then we're going to go back and get our beetroots. And I'm just going to put those all across the top of the beef now. There we go. Watercress. Lovely little pieces. Again, try not to cover all of the beef up. Just place them and you're going to get a lovely pepperiness as you eat the rest of the beef. So a few more on there. And then we are just about done. Last few pieces, take your time, make sure it's all looking lovely. There we go. So that's my carpaccio beef, lovely little horseradish creme fraiche. And then literally last second, just before you go to the table, get your croutons, because you don't want them to cook the beef. Out they come. And just sizzling away there. And just as it's going, a little sprinkle. And make sure they go on last second, as I say, because they will, as soon as they hit that beef, they will start to warm it up, and you really want to eat that beef as it's supposed to be, nice and raw. There you go. That's the beef carpaccio, straight to the table. Let's get eating. Last starter for you is a vegetarian starter. This is a salad of Jersey raw potatoes, bound with sesame mayonnaise. We made a sesame mayonnaise with some spring onions in there, really lovely. Then we've got carpaccio radishes just here, just backed with a little bit of mullet, some pea shoots, and a little ponzu dressing in here. So, first thing to do, just take a little bit of that ponzu, give it a good stir, and a tiny bit on top of the pea shoots. Not too much. Give them a little dress, shine them up lovely, and give them all a lovely flavour. Next, get your serving plate. Then your potato salad, make sure it's at room temperature, so take it out, let it warm up, and then what you want to do, just don't kind of sort of compact it down. You don't want a kind of real solid kind of potato salad in the middle. You just want to nicely build it up, just like that. You see I'm just kind of leveling it off because our radish is going to sit on the top of here. So a little bit more on there. Obviously remember, save some for the next day if you don't want to use it all at once. So that's our radish salad. So our potato salad, and then what I'm going to do, just before I put the radish on, I'm going to give the plate a nice little clean. Then what you want to do next, so your radish Carpaccio. Look, you can see this is the top, looks lovely and all arranged, and that's the bottom. Peel off the bottom and make sure all of the moulis stays intact. There we go. And then invert it on top of your potato. Give it a little tap down, see? This is going to adhere it to the potato salad and make it all nice and flat. And then peel off. So what I'm going to do at this stage is I'm just going to push back in a little bit of that salad there, and I'm going to get my little pea shoots. Just kind of mould them just in your hands, because we want them to sit nice and proud right on the top of the radish. And make sure obviously you can still see the outside of the radish, really important. And take a few, get that last bit of height. So get as many as you dare on there. Pea shoots are great because they can really give that height to your final dish, and of course they taste fantastic. So there we go. Then all that's left to do, ponzu dressing, give it a nice stir. This is making sure that it's emulsified. Tiniest bit on the top, leaving more for around, because you want that nice hit of that ponzu dressing to go through with the radishes that you've just put on the top, and of course the potato. So really, really simple starter in terms of flavour. Execution a little bit more complex with that radish, but there you go. What a wonderful, delicate starter, lovely showstopper to get you off to your menu with. So a dish now from my past at another restaurant. This is red mullet. So we've got red mullet fillets just here. We've got a little tagliatelle of courgette, so thinly sliced courgette, which we're just going to dress. And we've got courgette flour tempura, black olive tapenade, and a smoked garlic velouté, which is a really, really great match. What you want to do first of all is just a little bit of rapeseed oil, seasoning in your courgette, and a really good bit of seasoning in there. Lovely squeeze of lemon juice. The lemon's just inside your container of courgette when it arrives. And then get your hand in there and just work all of that lemon juice and oil into the courgette. And what will start happening, you can see it almost straight away, it will start wilting. So it's not cooked for this dish, it's just cooked by the salt and by the lemon juice. So we'll just leave that on the side. Then what we're going to do, get your courgette, get your mullet. They're going in the oven about 5 to 6 minutes. So in they go. Courgette flour just wants to be crispy, and the mullet just cook through. Make sure you don't overcook it. When we come back, I'm going to have my velouté. This is a smoked garlic velouté, just heated up on the stove, so just on the edge of the stove just to warm up. Black olive tapenade is going to be at room temperature. So we're back in a second, we'll plate this one up. So onto our mullet now. Nice hot plate. We've got our courgette salad there and our tapenade. And then I've just got my little smoked garlic velouté just on there. Tidy up. Then out comes our mullet and our courgette flour. Use a cloth flour pot. There we go. And what's just do is a little bit of seasoning just on the courgette flour and on that mullet. And then let's go with our courgette first of all. So give it another little stir just where it's been sat there wilted. And then take a nice handful of that courgette into the centre of your plate and just arrange it so it's right in the middle. Okay, you can go a little bit more on the top if you prefer. And try and make sure it's all looking nice, a little bit flat, just so the mullet will sit on top. So that's that one. Then what we'll do, we're going to get one of those fillets of mullet and just sit that on there like so. Then let's go courgette flour. There we go. We'll get another courgette flour just before we go with our mullet. So let's get that hot tray out the way. Finally, those lovely little fillets of mullet. Let's just sit them on the top. Beautiful. Really worth A little bit of time to make sure that's all looking stunning before you get the smoked garlic velouté. Try not to spoon it over the courgette flour, because of course that will make it go soft quite quickly. So that's our velouté. And then we're going to come back to that tapenade. I'm just going to get some nice little spoons of tapenade, just all the way around. Tapenade is quite strong, so that's why I'm just putting little amounts of it so that you don't get it all in one hit. So I'm happy with that. And finally, you know me, I love those little flecks of that golden rapeseed oil. Just splitting out that sauce. And there you go. That is my fillets of mullet, little tagliatelle of courgette, smoked garlic velouté, tapenade, and those crispy courgette flowers. Next main course for you is this beautiful piece of corn-fed chicken. This has just been poached already and the skin nicely coloured to get some real amazing flavour in there. I'm just going to sit it on the tarragon and a little bit of thyme that it comes in. So put it onto your tray, 8 to 10 minutes in the oven. So let's get that in now. There it goes. And then the garnishes. We've got a lovely little ravioli. So we've made saffron pasta. In here is a chicken and wild mushroom farce. That's going to go into our water. So I've got a little pan of simmering water here. 8 to 10 minutes as well. Make sure it comes back to the simmer. Get your time wrong, that's all good. And then the garnishes, lovely bit of crispy chicken skin for when it comes out. And then we've got a pot of fur just in here. So this has got a little sauce of lettuce and peas, fresh peas, pea shoots. This is just going to get warmed up on the stove. So let's get it on there. Give it a stir. Make sure those shoots start to wilt down nicely. And we'll be back in about 8 minutes to plate this one up. So here comes my chicken. That's all ready to go there. And then let's get our pot of fur. That's the peas. You see how those pea shoots have just started to wilt. But they're completely cooked down. There's our plates all ready. And then have a little warm tray. Give your ravioli a drain. Just on the top, I'm taking a little bit of rapeseed just to give that a lovely little shine. And a little bit of seasoning just on the top of my rav and on the chicken. So, let's get this plated up. First of all, plenty of pot au feu, including the sauce as well, it's really important. Into the bowl. A little bit more of a difficult one to plate this, but persevere. A few of those pea shoots on the top, nicely like so. Just before we put a chicken, I'm just gonna mop up any of that little pea juice which has just gone on the plate. So next up, chicken. I'll just get that onto my board, turn it over, make sure there's none of those herbs, you can just pull those off. And then we'll sit that straight on top. There, like so. Then we're going to get our ravioli. Just going to sit that just by the side. So just kind of almost make a little bit of a base. Just move that chicken so there it's going to sit nicely, lovely. Move that tray. And then what we're going to do, little bits of chicken skin. So here you can kind of just place them around. This is going to add that texture to the dish. A few more pieces on there. Lovely little chicken scratchings. Beautiful. Final little clean. And then we're just going to add a tiny little bit of that rapeseed just to split that lovely green oil out. So there we go. That's my little duo of chicken there. Bit of a chefy word from days gone by. Roasted breast of corn-fed chicken, the ravioli with the mushrooms inside, crispy chicken skin and a pot au feu of lettuce and peas. My main course vegetarian this week is this beautiful summer truffle arancini just here. So I've got some pecorino cheese going in there, lovely crispy panko breadcrumbs. They're going to go in about 12 to 14 minutes in the oven. So get them in first of all. There we go. Then your garnishes, romesco sauce. This is made with Isle White tomatoes. In there we've got toasted almonds going through it, we've got truffle, sherry vinegar, a little bit of concentrated tomato puree as well. That's just going to go on the stove, just gently warm that up. And then look at this, we've got a lovely little selection of baby artichokes, some lovely flowers going through there from the Modern Kitchen Garden who we use down here on the Isle of Wight. Little dried, semi-dried tomatoes, shallots, and then this is our sauce vierge dressing. So this is lemon juice in there, rapeseed oil, tomato water. What you want to do, get some of that beautiful dressing just into there, just give it a little turn over, put a little bit more in there. There we go. And this is just a lovely fresh dressing of all those tomatoes. See, that's all ready to go now, it's all seasoned. We'll just have that ready for when our arancini comes out with our romesco sauce. Alright, romesco already there, just heated that up. And then we've got our vierge all ready to go. Let's get our arancini out. Watch the tray as they come out, they're of course very hot. Tiny bit of molten salt on top of each one. Alright then, let's go for plating. So take your romesco. A nice bit of this is a really kind of integral part of a dish, so just use the back of a spoon. Watch the plate, it's quite warm, but just keep on moving around that romesco and try and have a nice little rim of it around the outside. This is almost like the sauce, but it's like a little puree to go with it. It's going to moisten up all the arancini, it's going to tie everything together. And then just, see, I'm just making sure there's a nice little base for it as well. There we go. Right. Next up, let's take our arancini. Let's just place those free. Look at that. They sit lovely in there. And then let's go with some of our vierge. So we've got baby artichokes, of course. Let's place those. You can see some of those lovely flowers just attach themselves, which is very helpful. And then we'll get some of the shallot rings, tomatoes, all going round. And try and like mix the colours up here. Make it so that you can see all of what's going on. More rings of shallots. Lovely. Little place. And I'm just going to keep on adding those all the way around. You've got chive flowers in there. Got a lovely selection of herbs. Here we go. Almost done. So I'm really taking my time to make sure it all looks beautiful. Those flowers, lovely. Get some of those petals. Use a little pair of tweezers if you prefer. And we are almost there. A little bit of a dressing. Just around the outside of a plate. And there we go. A little bit more time consuming to plate up. More than worth it. That's the vegetarian main course for this week. A little truffle arancini with pecorino, a lovely romesco, and that sauce vierge. First dessert here, this is a rich dark chocolate Titanic. So it's completely flourless, similar to a fondant, but it's much, much nicer. So in there you've got the fondant mix, it's got a lovely peanut centre in it. That's going to go in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Make sure it looks like slightly dark in the centre. If it doesn't, if it's completely risen, it's going to be overcooked. You're not going to have that lovely runny centre. So make sure it just has a little bit of a dark centre, 10 to 12 minutes. When we come back, we're going to be plating up. We've got some raspberry gel, we've got fresh raspberries, and we've got these lovely little candied peanuts as well, just a lovely bit of texture. Back in about 10 to 12 minutes. So, Titanic, let's get that out of the oven. There it is. Watch the hot tray. Let that rest just on the side, really important. See what I mean about that centre? It's got a little darkness just in the centre, so that's just going to rest nicely there. Bring your plate over, and then your raspberry gel, cut off a little corner of the piping bag. And what we're going to do is place some of our raspberries just on our plate. Let's get some of those just kind of standing up, some laying down. so. And then remember, we've got those little candied peanuts. Get a few of those on the plate as well. They just have a beautiful crunch. And then get your raspberry gel. I'm just piping little piles of that, going all the way through, making that look really nice and dainty. That's our raspberry gel. A few more little peanuts just in there, just sitting on top. There we go. Then with your Titanic, just literally ease it away from the mould, turn it out, just pop out straight away. Get a nice little spatula carefully onto your plate, and away we go. Really important. Let's get to this table straight away, because that centre is still going to be lovely and molten, just to go in that spoon and then mix it with all those lovely raspberries. Hope you enjoy it. So here we've got next dessert for you. This is a elderflower panna cotta, little poached apricots just here, lovely little palmiers. So we've just rolled those. They've just got ice and sugar going through, and just a lovely bit of dried elderflower, which we've picked just locally. And we've got a little bit of grappa, which goes beautiful with panna cotta. So what you want to do, have your bowl, and then you just need to get the panna cotta, little dip, just seconds, that's it. Drain off the water, and then literally turn it over onto your hand, like so. Keep it over the water or over a little tray, and get rid of any drips first of all before it goes into your bowl. Then just into your bowl, like so. Move that water out of the way, and let's get this garnished up. So let's get our lovely little poached apricots, bang on in season now. Lovely colour. So plate all of those. Just going to have a little one on top of the panna cotta as well. Then we'll get our little palmiers, and I'm just going to kind of like, disperse them all the way around it, like so. There we go. And then last thing, get your bit of grappa, just slice through, and then literally just pour some of that grappa just over the top. And honestly, that grappa combination is sensational. So lovely, simple dessert, elderflower panna cotta, palmiers and poached apricots. Last course now of the UBChef menu is the cheese course. So get your cheeses, make sure they're at room temperature, and then in order of the tasting notes, all I'm going to do is plate them onto my board. So it's very easy just to follow those little notes. We've got the manchego first, we've got comté, we've got a lovely creamy bit of manchego just there. And then we've got a little washed cheese, that's the champagne washed long just there. Finishing off, lovely slice of gorgonzola, and of course a bit of quince paste on there. And then all that leaves, get your fennel seed crackers. Look at these lovely little crackers, which you can just stand up in a bowl of risotto rice, or get bending those forks, as I have done here. Beautiful. So, take it to the table, cheese notes to wow your guests, or you can mull over these whether you think the notes bang on describe the cheese. Hope you've enjoyed this week's UBChef menu. Remember, look on the website, last order Sunday, as usual for next week's. We've got 4 weeks menus always ahead. Hope you enjoyed this week's, and happy cooking.